All right, happy Friday. Good evening. How are you, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. And I'm just going to address this beautiful, lovely gentleman that's in the chat room. Um, I will be having wine, guacamole, and chips. So if that is going to happen that you ask, then that's what will it be. How about that? But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Let me turn this off because we are starting now. We have snow that is coming in. I think we're up maybe 4, maybe almost 5 inches, depends on where you are. But that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. We ain't scared. Yeah, we are not afraid in Chicago. That is nothing. And it's been a long time actually since we got some snow. Uh, we did get some, but it wasn't even worth saying that we got any because it was gone, I think, in 2 days, and it was only an inch. Got a lot of rain, sleet, wind, all of that last weekend, and it started just like it started today, Friday. Isn't that something? It waited all the way to the weekend. I guess it couldn't help itself. But yeah, that's what we have to deal with here. That and taxes, cold weather and taxes, and nothing you can do about it except for move. That's it. So it's up to you to choose what you're gonna do. Those are your only options. That's it. Cold weather and taxes, and that's why I picked to talk about marijuana because actually I had a article last week. Let's see, last week was that considered the first week of January? Uh, sort of, kind of like. And in Chicago, we've had a robbery of um, distillery. Doesn't that sound like drinking? Hmm, okay. Anyway, there was a robbery, and it was a undisclosed amount. You know, they don't never want to tell you that amount. They never want to tell you that. They like, we're gonna keep this secret. We're not gonna tell you. Maybe later. But I found out today because I was looking for the story, and it was over $100,000 cash, cold cash, and that's because banks are not accepting money um, for these marijuana places. So that's a lot of cash, and especially moving it around um, because they just made legal for the use of it for recreation January 1st. I say Chicago, but it's actually Illinois. Um, People that have their licenses and they have their place to sell, they're dealing with cash. Look at my, thank you, Shadra. Thank you so much, Shadra. That's why I stopped my distillery. The wine has kicked me. Yeah, I can remember that uncle, what's his name? What's the uncle name? Ernest. I can't handle that. Right, red wine. I gotta stop there. But yeah, um, the dispensaries they have. I think it was 19, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, they had a robbery on the north side of Chicago. They got away with $100,000, and now it's saying that it is an inside job because the place was closed and they were able to grab the money and go because no one was there. Now just think about it. They had to know this person, trust this person, and everything. Open up. They haven't even been open for a whole 7 days. What's the woman name? Tony Braxton. 7 whole days. It wasn't even 7 whole days, and stole over $100,000. I'm like, wow, that was a lot of cash. So that ended up happening, and so that made me think about um, how things go for us here in Chicago. How is this going to affect us? I was in someone's chat room. I made a little joke. I said, "Oh, they just, buying this up and stealing it so they can sell it on the street." But I was just joking about that. But they did. They actually ran out. Some of the dispensaries they actually ran out, and they had the cameras out there saying, "So what do you think? Ran out in the first week? Oh, that's something else. I just can't believe it." So I don't know if actually they ran out because they actually sold out, or maybe it was people were still on the inside. I don't know. I haven't read or heard anything about that, but I found that to be very interesting. And then today they've decided to pass a bill. Well, not a bill, to increase the taxes. They add an additional 3% tax already to the 30 some percent tax for marijuana. So we will be considered. Oh, let me see if I find the article. Do I have it up? I thought I had it up. I'm supposed to be more prepared than this. No, I don't have it up. But anyway, we've going to be over 40% in taxes just for recreational marijuana, just because of that additional 3% tax. I don't know what to say about us, but we will tax the heck out of it. We have no problem with that. I've experienced taxes that have made me extremely angry. I could not understand them. And I believe I mentioned them before, where I would get an electrical bill, and that electric bill would be maybe, let's say, $40, and 18 of it is tax. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Who are these people? So when I saw a line that says federal tax, I had a little smile on my face. I said, I'm gonna see if I can file this on my taxes. It says federal. So I did call the electric company, and the guy laughed and he said, "No, you can't do that, ma'am." I said, "Why not? It says federal, so why can't I?" So, long story short, I don't, jive with taxes too much, and I'm going to say I'm a little numb to this story because it's not a surprise. If a package of cigarettes, I think now is up to $13, something like that, and at least eight of it is in taxes. Um, I'm really not surprised about the marijuana. One of the guys at a dispensary said it's just the cost of doing business. I'm like, okay, you want to look at it that way, that's fine, but gee, that's a bit much. I do understand that you have to pay taxes for a lot of things, but it's just very excessive when it comes to Chicago and Illinois. It just too much. It's really excessive. And hello, Ruby. Greetings to you. Classy, classic. Must add that on.
Good evening, good evening. Sorry, I was sitting here trying to share tonight's stream on Facebook because you would swear that like I'm a complete luddite. I've never seen technology before in my life. I'm like, okay, so where do you click again to put the link in? Okay, I like went through six different pages before I realized that right on that main page there's the share your mind thing at the top, and that's where you put stuff. Yeah, so I'm learning, but I am determined for 2020 that I am going to catch up to the technological era that everyone else is in and knows how to thrive in. I'm so doing it. This is it. I have so many friends on Facebook, and I think maybe I might have a total of maybe 50 posts over the last, how long have I had this? 10 years? Yeah. So, yeah. So we're working
don't
on it. We're working on it.
don't feel bad. I only created the account to look at things. That was it. I wasn't interested in posting, so don't feel bad.
Hmm. You know why I created? I'm telling you, I was determined. I was never getting this Facebook foolishness. I was not one of the people who got on the wave when it came out. And it was like kind of like my generation was the generation that started wanting to do this because we were all in college around that time, right?
Hmm.
But I was not about that life. The reason why I decided to get my own account is because I was using my then boyfriend's account, and there were all these games you could play, right? And I can't remember which games I was playing, but they were like tied to Facebook. You had to have a Facebook account to play these games. And I was playing them so much, and it was kind of like keeping him out of his own Facebook account. So I started an account, didn't tell anyone I had one, didn't make any friends or anything, just so I could play this stupid game. Like that was it. And I stayed that way for a couple years too, just to play games. That was it. Yeah, no,
Mm.
and I still don't. I can't lie. I'm not trying to be mean, but every single day I wake up, I don't care that your kid took its first steps, and this one got a new car, and this one's job gave them a promotion. I don't care. Like, I'm not the one who cares about stalking other people's lives to like know those little details. So Facebook isn't my jam. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And the joke is it's fake book because everything is so happy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's actually I mean it's a major cause. They've done some research and they're saying, "Hey, listen, social media, especially things like Facebook where people are giving you updates of their actual lives every day, is contributing to the depression and suicidal feeling ideation rates in society because people are looking at everyone else's Facebook lives and going, everyone else's life is perfect, mine
Hmm.
isn't perfect. I can't measure up. I'm so far behind of all of my classmates, my peers. And so it gives you this false sense of inferiority because you're not realizing that just as much as you're sitting there and lying about your life on Facebook, so is everyone else. So they're not really as far ahead as they let you believe. Trust me. Yeah, so yeah, they're doing it. I mean, social media has had such a negative impact in so many different ways, and I wish there was like a lie detector or something. Before you made a statement about your life, it had to go through a lie detector. If it didn't come out true, you could not post that. The end. I would be great with Facebook then, because then you'd be getting the real story of people's lives instead of saying, "Oh, me and the hubby are so happy" and blah blah blah. Then you'd really get the real update of he slept on the couch for the 10th time this month. So sick and tired of him thinking of divorce. Right? Like, that's what
Uh
really
huh.
happened. But that's not what people post. Like, come on. Let's be real. Get
Right.
some real support for what's really happening in your real life. How about that?
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. My
Mm-hmm.
Facebook gotta look better than your Facebook.
Right? Ugh. And I can't do it. The whole keeping up with the Joneses things, the fake concern. Because see, I'm someone, I'll just post what's real. Like I'll just say something real about my life, and then because you were just being real about the fact that it's not all sunshine and lollipops today, you get like 100 people. Oh my God, are you okay? Suddenly, people who never talked to you are in your inbox. Like, wait, we're friends? Since when?
Yeah.
Since when do you know? But no, you want to do your fake concern foolishness. Like, I'm fine. The world pissed me off today. I'm sharing that because that's what really happened in my real life. I know it's shocking because none of y'all do that, right?
Right.
But I'm a real person, so I'm gonna let you really know. It's all right. Don't worry. I'm not gonna crumble and die because there was a bad day. To the point that I shared on Facebook. But see, that's what people do. And we know, I mean, there was those string of the Facebook suicides, right? Where people were going on Facebook Live or Instagram Live to commit suicide, do crazy things. Someone did the whole murder suicide thing too. So I think a lot of people, they're using Facebook because they're very lonely in real life, like they don't have real connections with other humans, um, and so they start reaching out for help online. So when they do say something about the world being terrible, that is them, sending out those signals like something's really wrong. Come help me because I'm feeling really alone and I'm starting to lose it. I'm starting to unravel. So, but again, I don't live that life, so I can't relate necessarily.
Wow. But that is the truth, though. That
Mm-hmm.
is the God's honest truth.
Right.
I'm gonna read a little bit of this about our marijuana tax because it gives a breakdown. It was interesting earlier. I had it set up and everything, but you know how sometimes when you pull up an article, it'll have something plain,
Mm-hmm.
and I try not to bring those type of articles up because that is annoying And it also takes from your stream, and I try not to
Right.
have those. But so I'm not even going to attempt to share this
Mm.
screen, but um, it's um, it's a 10% tax for marijuana with THC levels at or below 35%. There's a 20% tax rate for all cannabis infused products. And then there's a 25% tax rate for marijuana with a THC level above 35%. So
And is
depends
this
on,
across the country or like
oh, this is for the lovely Chicago.
oh, you poor things.
The
Poor things. Okay. Just checking.
lovely Chicago. And this is just for recreational. So I don't know, because they haven't mentioned anything about um, medical, but they said as far as for recreational, that's what this is.
But
So
like how would they charge you the so it's going to be built into the price, like how are they going to charge this additional tax, I guess, for recreational users? Like
well, if you go to
how's it
dispensary,
going to happen? Like your dealer, now your dealer is going to charge you an extra tax and is going to go, file his taxes, and be like, yeah, no, well, I sell marijuana on the street corner. Like, I mean, like, how are they going to get that additional 20% from the majority of recreational users who are buying it from some dealer, selling it from his mom's, bedroom or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I understand for the infused stuff, right? Because for the infused stuff,
hmm
you're going into an actual store. So I guess they'll charge you whatever your regular sales tax is plus an additional 20%, or maybe that additional 20% or whatever will be built into the cost of the brownie or cookie or whatever. All right. But what about for all those people who are just using weed? Like, they're not going to change their oh, well, now that it's legal, I'll go to the store always to buy it. Like, no one's doing that. So how are they getting their taxes from the majority? That's what I want to know.
well, you're going to have those that are afraid of the folks on the street. So they're going to go and get it, the right way or legally. They're not even going to be concerned with that. They're not even
That's
going to
true.
bat an eye, and they have the money for it.
That's
So
true.
it's 20% just flat for the infused product. Then you have our taxes, which is 10.25%. So you're already at over 30%. Then they added an additional 3%, and that's called a recreational marijuana sales tax. That's going to be the title for that. So it depends on if you get the THC level above or below, that you have to add that tax in. So if it's going to be below 35%, it's 10% tax. If it's above 35% THC level, then it's an additional 25% tax. So whichever way you're going to go, you're going to definitely be at the 40%, but it could be more than that. It just all depends on what you purchase.
Well, I mean, you see this happen with a lot of different things, right? And as you mentioned, like you mentioned tobacco earlier being one of them. But like I remember, and I'm not sure exactly what the breakdown is in America, but I remember someone showing the breakdown of gas, the cost of gas per
Mm-hmm.
liter here, according to how much of it is tax. And it's like I swear, like way less than 50% of the cost of your gas
Mm-hmm.
here is the gas, the cost of the gas. Most of it is taxes, additional taxes before you go into the thing and have to pay your sales tax, right? So you're like, wait a minute. So I'm paying like maybe 10% of that $50 to fill my tank is the cost of gas. The other 90% is just taxes. This is what they do. Um, they
Uh-huh.
love to add additional tax after tax after tax after tax. And what people do is they just build it into the cost of the product. So you don't realize how much that product, why is it so expensive? Because of tax, because they've
Mm-hmm.
decided to add additional taxes in these stores. They can't eat that cost, so they have to pass it on to the consumer, right? So you're going to be paying, like you said, it's not like, oh well, somehow maybe the store can pick up some of it. No, it's all being passed down to you. So now a brownie that should be $4 will be $8 for the same size brownie. And it's not because you're getting better quality or a bigger brownie. It's the same size. It's the same amount of THC, same amount of everything. It's just now you got to pay additional tax because I don't know what are they trying to fund right now? Because that's where it's going to. It's not going to towards anything. It's
It,
whatever foolishness they want to fund.
they're trying to fund everything because
Mm-hmm.
we messed up here. Everything is behind. I mean, and I mean everything. Um, I got to check to see what the pension was because that was, I knew that was in a trillion. That's how bad it is for that
Oh
for pensions.
wow, wow, trillions. That's some massive numbers. Mm. And
Yeah.
I know for sure. So what happened with the tobacco thing, right? So
Hmm.
they sued the and everyone knows this, right? A lot of Western world sued the tobacco companies and they won. And the
Hmm.
settlement was $40 billion. And so they had the option: do you want a lump sum settlement now, and you get the money, all of it now, or do you want to take a percentage of what we earn over the course of however long to get that 40 billion back? And so they said, well, yeah, we'll do that way, right? So every single year you have to give us money, and then what they did once that started is they said, okay, well, we want $40 billion now, though we know we're gonna get it. So they went to their lenders, and I'm talking about the government here, and borrowed $40 billion, right?
Wow.
And then they set up how they were going to pay it back based on an estimate of how much the tobacco companies would make given a 2% decrease per year in people smoking. So they understand that all of the quit smoking options that are out there are not that effective. And ultimately, between the fact that new people start, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you got the people quitting. Overall, you're going to have a 2% decrease in people smoking per year. And that's how they calculated what their payback would be. Here's the problem.
Okay.
Vaping came along, and vaping is incredibly effective. And so the rates actually of people picking up tobacco are dramatically decreased. Like we're talking about going from 2% per year to well over 10%, right? And it's been about a
Oh.
decade. And those numbers are steadily climbing because vaping is incredibly effective at getting you off of cigarettes almost immediately. In some cases, some people vape once and they never smoke again. Um,
Mm.
and then from there, you can drop the level of nicotine that you have slowly until you have no nicotine. And then, you know what? Honestly, a lot of people just put it away. They're just done vaping, right? Like I vape because I enjoy vaping. I like vaping. But and I brought my nicotine down dramatically, right? But like for me to just get it down to zero and then stop, let's say because I got pregnant or something, wouldn't be a big deal. Not like smoking was.
Oh.
So they recognize that. And that's why there's been this big attack against vaping because they can't afford for people to quit smoking at the rate they are. Because how do they pay back their lenders for the $40 billion that they decided to take and spend a long time ago? Right? Exactly. So, you got to we don't recognize how shady the government is moving sometimes and how shady
Uh-huh.
they can be and what their real intentions and motivations are. When you see a collective effort by big pharma and the government and big someone else, when you see a collective effort between all those people, they're suddenly agreeing on one thing and fighting that thing. Look
Right.
underneath the surface because they're full of shit. Okay. And so it's always true. And so I'm going to say the marijuana tax, they're going to keep trying to tax it higher and higher and higher because it's
Yep.
the same thing they want to do to vaping. It's just harder for them to try to do it. So that's what they're trying to do though, because they need to try to make that money back. They have to try to make up those deficits where they took the wrong turn. Some president took a wrong turn 20 years ago. I got to try to fix this so we don't lose our country to I don't know whoever the hell they're in debt to. So like
Mm-hmm.
so y'all need to realize like be careful. I'm telling you that marijuana you're gonna be able to buy it in store, but soon it's gonna be like one drop for like $50. You know what I mean? It's gonna be something else. You're gonna be like, yo, liquid gold right there, some marijuana. Vaguely,
Wow.
it'll make you high for 20 minutes. Here you go, 50 bucks.
They gonna end up closing some of those places because they're not gonna be able to make any money, and they
Mm-hmm.
probably have more robberies. I'm looking. It looked like that's what's gonna happen as well. Um, but right now, it'll probably be okay because the tax kicks in July 1st.
Okay.
So let's say if they're paying $20 now for whatever, I don't know what the sizes are, but it'll be maybe $25 July 1st.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
So they'll go ahead and get it now. Then when it goes up for the summer, okay. Those who can, those who can't, oh, forget this man. I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what ended up happening.
Oh, hold on. I just
But
want to say one thing to crew really quick.
oh,
I don't want to forget. So what's up, crew? But I'll just say so. People have probably heard in the news, that there were some health issues associated with vaping, and people just hear vaping and they think vaping is all one thing. It's not. So for me, my vape is basically vaping water air vapor with some nicotine, but you also can vape THC, right? You can basically vape weed. And a lot of that comes in oils. Now, some of the health issues that have happened are actually connected to the oils, and it's not connected to weed, it's connected to the oils. Some people are purchasing from online vendors that are unethical with their practices, shady, not doing things right. And so what you're getting is basically an oil that you shouldn't be inhaling versus the ones that dissipate the way they're supposed to. So I just wanted to say be careful. Look into the news I just told you now because I'm pretty sure that they did actually publicize which online vendors, to the best of their ability, or at least publicize which ones for sure were safe, if that's the way you're going, just to make sure that when you're doing something, you're doing it as responsibly and as safely as possible. I just wanted to say that really quick.
all right. So remember that. But yeah, I think
Right?
I've heard something about that because it can affect your lungs and something else. But um, I can say from what I've known, it has become extremely popular. I'm seeing the ads. I'm hearing stuff in the news about it. Kids are purchasing it, and they're trying to get them to stop. So it's extremely popular.
Well, and to be clear, right now, I'm not going to say vaping's not safe. We can't say it's safe. It's been around for about a decade. Um,
Hmm.
there's I mean the amount of there's like nothing, there's nothing really other than people not doing things safely and having a couple batteries explode
Hmm.
in their pockets, right? Which again, that has to do with them, user mishandling, for lack of better words. But really, there's been no real health problems tied to something, and that's 10 years. Now, we're going to talk about it like, oh, well, 10 years isn't that long. But remember that they'll only test some of these drugs that you've taken for like a year or two before putting them onto the public. Y'all are basically phase two of the trials. So when
Hmm.
people have horrible, traumatic reactions, like when I took Effexor and I was under the age of 25, and it
Oh,
made me massively suicidal. Like I was pathologically suicidal. If you left me alone for 2 seconds, I tried to kill myself. Like it was crazy because of this drug. But then they found out that people literally under the age of 25, it makes a very large
mhm.
number of people suicidal. Go figure. So,
Wow.
but we were phase two of the trials, right? And so y'all need to realize that 10 years of experience of people just using it across the board is
Hmm.
actually a lot of experience, especially because it is basically worldwide. But BBC Health did a 200-page document, 200 pages. There actually has been so much research on vaping, so much research on the health effects of vaping, on the secondhand effects of vaping, all of this stuff. And what they've determined is vaping is 95% safer than smoking. 95%. Um, and so, with that, keeping that in mind, we
Hmm.
have teenagers at a much, like such a decreased rate of picking up smoking now versus what it used to be. And it used to be a lot higher and it was climbing. Now, teenagers aren't picking up smoking. Now, have they ever in their life tried a vape? Yeah. A lot of them will say yes. But are
Hmm.
they vaping? As in, are they sitting there and like they got to buy pack after pack like like you would happen with smoking? No. And see, that
Hmm.
is that is the thing, right? Now, do we want to encourage children to vape? No. But they aren't vaping at higher rates, like than they were smoking. Teenagers pick up things like alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, whatever. They want to try things, right? So I personally, for me, if my kid was like a teenager and picked up vaping, I would much rather them try vaping than smoking ever because I was like trapped. I was
Yeah.
trapped smoking for almost 20 years of my life. And I would never wish that on anyone else, right? So, because I understand the difference between the two and I feel the health effects of the difference, right?
Hmm.
Remember the way that they're trying to present all the information in the media is so skewed. It's so skewed, Char, because I've done the research. I didn't just sit there and, oh, well, I'm going to
Okay.
fight this. I actually did a lot of research before I even tried vaping because I wanted to know and understand really what's behind it. And when claims come out, I actually go
Okay.
and read the research and what did they find and what did it really say. And what I realize is people are lying. They're actually blatantly
Mm.
lying, knowing that no one's going to click on that link and go read that research. No one's going to do it. They're just going to believe whatever you said is in there. It's crazy. It's crazy. And again, why? Because they want to scare people away. They want people who started vaping and now don't smoke anymore. They want those people to be scared of vaping. Stop vaping and go back to smoking. That's what they want. They're not going to
Come
tell you
back to the
that.
cigarette. Hmm.
Exactly. Why? Because they need your money. Because they got to go pay off their debtors. Because they owe $40 billion to people that they can't pay back if the whole entire country quits smoking. And when you go, there's countries all over the world that like literally, there's like almost like no one smoking because everyone vapes, like everyone. If you're gonna if you they got everyone off of nicotine, they will actually help you. There are clinics there are stop smoking clinics you go into. They help you choose your vape and your liquid and whatever. Like other places around the world have really embraced vaping because they understand the significant great impact that it has on health as for you to stop smoking, and they realize that it's actually one of the only workable plans that have ever like really happened to help people who don't have that willpower thing to
Uh-huh.
slowly cut down and quit smoking, right? So yeah, like I'm telling you that really pissed me off when I realized that the government does not care. They do not care about your health. They want money first. They do not care about your well-being. They want money first. Like that actually really bothered me. I know I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little bit surprised. I can't lie. I was surprised. I would think for sure like this is horrible. But you know why Big Pharma's part of this too? Because if everyone quit smoking, then all of a sudden all
Uh-huh.
the treatment for cancer, all the treatment for all these smoking related diseases gone,
Hmm.
which means they don't need those medications, which means big pharma starts losing billions too. Right? You have to remember that. That's why I said when you see the big government, big pharma, big tobacco, when they start all banding together and their message is the same, I am telling you they are full of shit. They are manipulating you and it's all about money. They do not care about you.
Not your health. You right about that. It's not about your health.
Mm-mm. Not at
Now,
all.
now I'm going to say for just to kind of piggyback off of that, they definitely don't care because and it is about money because for insurance they'll charge you additional um, depends on your age, but normally it's $200 more per month for your health insurance if you use tobacco
Mm-hmm.
or vaping.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to charge you extra.
Yep. Because they smart, see, and the government, the insurance companies are very happy because the government got something that has no tobacco in it classified as a tobacco product. And so since we all know the harmful effects of tobacco, then if it's vaping, well, you might as well be smoking anyway, so they don't have to lose out. See, everything at the end, it's
Hmm.
not about truth and it's not about fairness. It's about money, 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 money.
Honey.
That's it. That's
Hmm.
it. Like they're so money hungry. It's so horrible to live in the Western world sometimes and open your eyes and look and see what's really being done. It really is. Mm,
When you thought they cared. Not.
right? Right? All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Right?
That's right. They sure don't.
DJ Music's got me on the Michael Jackson now. You see that? Like it just jumped
Okay.
in after that last song, man. I was like, oh my God, what is the song? I'm listening to it. I'm like, I know it's Michael. I know it's Michael, but what is the song? Like something about it was almost familiar, but I didn't recognize it until the chorus. Then I'm like, oh, oh, I know this song. I used to love this song. Why doesn't anyone play this song? DJ Music, thank you. You did good. You did good.
Yeah, I tell you, that was actually the CD that soon as he came out with it, someone decided they came out. Oh, he touched me. They waited right till he put that CD out. It wasn't even out a week, I
Mhm.
think, and someone came
Mhm.
out. But yeah, and he was trying to get the rights of something he was trying to buy. But anyway, yeah, um, I do
Mhm.
agree with you. It's all about money. And so, sure, they welcome you having recreational marijuana, but they gonna tax you, so don't wonder about it.
Exactly, right? They were panicked at first because they couldn't figure out how they could make money. As soon as they figured out how they could make money, they were good. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll decriminalize it, no problem. Oh yeah, no problem. As long as we could tax it, as long as we can sell it, as long as we could tax it, we're good to go with that.
So, as of yesterday, they're thinking about having it where the police will not search you without a warrant your car if they smell something. That's on the
Mm.
table right now. So, I'm wondering how that's going to go.
Hmm.
Because as far unfortunately, people of color, if they come up with something, if it's all right for one, just ain't gonna be all right for you.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering how it's gonna work itself out, if it ever will. It'll still be something, even if they would say, okay, you don't have to get your car searched anymore. They'll come up with something.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I seen uh, flames in a car. They'll come up with something. So
Oh, of course. It's like when you see in movies, they'll do it. They want to get into someone's house. They're like, "Oh wait, we don't have a warrant. Okay. Do you hear screaming? Yeah, I think someone needs assistance in this house. Like, you know what I mean? You can just say whatever the
right.
hell you want. I thought it was inside of there. I didn't realize it was someone's TV across the hall until after I got inside. Right? Like, you say whatever you want. That's the problem. And a lot of them, and I don't understand how you can get away with this because if you have those body cams, you should
Mhm.
basically never be allowed to turn them off, like ever. I don't care what it. You should not be able to turn off those body cameras if you're working. Those cameras need to be on at all times. I don't care about tape and bandwidth or whatever the hell it is they're trying to save and account for. Like, why am I missing any time of your shift on any given day? Isn't that the point? The point is for it to be there to protect you and to protect citizens, right? So that way it's keeping everyone honest because it's there.
I
So,
agree, but they don't do that.
mm-mm,
And that's what makes me so angry because it's always with us.
mm-hmm,
If it was someone else, okay, but it's always with us. And
yep,
I'm like, I'm tired of this. I mean, why is it you can't capture that? And then even let's say if it is captured, there's still something going to go on.
mm-hmm,
It's something going to be planted, thrown out. It's going to be some BS in the mix,
yep.
and that really bothers me. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And I think that the worst part about that is that you can tell it's like they want to set black people up. Like they have like a mission statement almost. Because I know they get those what are they called? Like quotas, right? So they have a quota
Uh
of how
huh.
many arrests or whatever they need to make. And I think that first of all, when you quantify police work, you are creating a problem. Because if you have to meet a particular quota, that means you are going to be trying to find people you can set up relatively easily just to make sure you meet your quota. Even if you're only doing it subconsciously, because you want to get fired, you want to get in trouble for not doing enough police work because some of your cases took longer than others this week. That's some bullshit. They should not be quantifying police work. Um,
Yeah.
but with that being said, I think, with that quota, they pick targets. And one of the things that they're going to target then is a young black man, for example, because a young black male, everyone knows who's going to bat an eye at the young black male was a criminal. Oh,
Hmm.
he was in Harvard, but he was a criminal. Who bats an eye at that story? No one. And they know that that's how society is. And that's why they are quite fine to pick any black person out of a crowd and criminalize them today. Turn off that body camera and go, okay, I'm making him a criminal today, make up some story. And then it's after because someone else's body camera was on, because someone was recording on a cell phone, whatever it is, we get to see the real story. And it's like, nah, you went out of your way. You turned your camera off right before this thing happened because you knew you were going to do something to set up some poor innocent man, because probably because
Mm.
you had to meet a quota. So yeah, I blame the individuals doing it, but I'm blaming the person who put the quota in place to begin with. There shouldn't be no damn quota. This is crazy.
Right. Only quota should be you just fill out your paperwork after you make an arrest or not. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
you need to do, just write it out. Oh, well, this happened, or it appeared that this happened. I had to let them go. Whatever. Write that out. That's all you need is paperwork quota. That's it. Not actual arrest. But we know that is there, even though we haven't seen it in the black and white. It's very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I want to mention just about since we're talking, well, I'm talking about the taxes and all of that and robberies. Um, there's been more robberies going on in Chicago, and I know one thing with our young men. For one, they do not have jobs. I'm not saying that, well, this is the reason why they're doing it. What I'm saying is, I have noticed that um, a group of teens get together after school or whatever, and they'll mob up. They'll go to a store and they all run in, grab some items, and run out. Um, Now, what they're doing, as of, let me see, this is last week's article, on the north side of Chicago, um, parking is just a monster. A lot of people don't even have a car that lives on the north side of Chicago. They just say, forget it. It's not worth it. We have lots of trains and almost 24 hours. We do have a couple of trains that are 24 hours. So people just hop the train, get off, and go home. And what has happened is also the younger crowd, they enjoy Lyft and Uber. You know, they don't want, and I understand if they go out, have fun or whatever, go for drinks and stuff, they don't want to hang out, get on the train and go home. They want to get, pulled up in front of their door. I got that. So unfortunately, there are people that are pretending to be um, ride share cars, and that's really messed up. And they hit the north side because that's where the people are. They mostly want one, a Lyft or Uber. And unfortunately, especially our, I'll say Zero's other cousin, they just hop in a car all happy go lucky. They ain't paying much attention. And unfortunately, these folks are getting robbed. It is happening to everyone, but it's really targeting Zero's cousins, other cousins. And so it's a lot of robberies, and they started around the 3rd of January. So there's a lot of victims. They get their credit cards taken away from them, um, cash if they have any, and it's really become really bad. So I'm like, dang, you have to be extra careful. You got to check the driver, what they look like, that car that you're getting in, that not driver's license, the plate. You better check all of those things before you get into that ride share car or what you think is one, because people are out there to take your money. It's chilly outside, not just bone cold as it normally is for January in Chicago, but it's still cold that you want to, you bundle up. The weather, could be some rain, snow, whatever's going on, and you probably not paying that much attention, but you need to. Please pay more attention before you hop in these cars. I don't even care if it's summertime, but it started now. And I'm just saying that this is something that I've noticed that's been going on. We've been having more robberies in Chicago, and they're becoming more interesting in the way they're doing it. Um, they're having smash and grabs. They haven't stopped those. Um, and I don't know what it is about Louis Vuitton, but they just hit the Louis Vuitton store last week. So I don't know what that's all about. But like I said, they're smashing and grabbing. They don't even care. It was broad daylight. Downtown Chicago. They just burst in, grabbed some merchandise, and ran out. And they did two robberies in one night. They did one downtown Chicago, and then they went to the suburbs and they hit another spot that was Louis Vuitton. I'm like, dang, what's really going on? So as you see on the screen, there's this Louis Vuitton bag, and that's a nice bag. I'm just saying. So if you just happen to see anybody that's selling one of these, holler at your girl. I like one. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I do like this bag. And I brought this up just because one, I really like this bag. And then two, I'm talking about the fact that they're smashing and grabbing these stores, and Louis Vuitton, for some reason, has been uh, a target as of last week. And this particular article, which I had just clicked on because I liked the bag, I seen it, and found out that this particular guy, they tried to rob him, and this was in the UK, and they tried to rob this guy, and they asked for his bag, and he's like, "No, I worked too hard for this bag, and I saved up. It was over $1,000 he saved up for this particular bag." And he's like, "No, I'm not giving up my bag." So the guy that was robbing him had a gun, shot twice around him, and he said, "I'm not giving you my bag. I done told you." So the guy, the robber, shot at him. He missed, and the guy uh, tussled with him. So the guy was caught. So the robber, was caught. He couldn't, I guess, fight well. And that guy, he meant what he said. He said if he wanted that bag, he was gonna have to pry it out of his dead hands. He said he was not going to give up his bag. Now I'm just saying that is a bit much, but that's how the guy felt. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. But that's what that man felt. He meant what he said. He said, "I'm not giving up my bag. I worked hard for it. I ain't giving you nothing." And the man was not giving up his bag, and he did not. I'm glad he was able to, tussle the gun away from the guy, and he wasn't shot, but he was willing to take a bullet because he won his bag.
What? Okay. I missed. Well, see, because my laptop froze. So I had to read. So I missed some stuff.
No
So
problem.
you're saying a man owned the thing in the picture.
Yes.
Okay. And to me, that's a merce, right? I
Hmm.
guess then. I mean, really, it's a purse, but I guess they're trying to make it into a merce because instead of a leather strap, it's almost like a sporty. I don't know. Merces are weird to me. Fine. This whole generation and their style is weird as hell to me, but okay, again, fine, whatever. All right. So, oh, I know what's this design? I know that design. What is the brand of this?
That is Louis Vuitton.
Thank you, Louis Vuitton. Okay, so this man wanted to die over his purse. This is what you're saying.
Yes. He was willing to die for his bag. And that is a nice bag. So I know you say your laptop froze, but I'm just letting you know if you see that, think of your girl. I like that. So just
That's what I'm saying, though. Okay, I know that's not the point of the story, Char. I know it's not, right? But I can't get down with this. About 10 years ago or so, I think it was 7, because I went and looked it up. I wrote an article, and that article was on man skirts. right?
Mhm.
And like I literally titled it "Man Skirt Sexy." I don't think so, because that's what they were trying to say. Oh, manly men wear skirts too, and they had like Tyson Beckford and stuff walking down the runway in a skirt, and I'm like, yo, no one thinks this looks clownish. Like it looks like this is buffoonery. So to me, I don't care, like, yo, okay, listen, if you're part of the LGBT community, do you, boo? And you want to gender bend and that's what you claimed. But I'm just saying, if you are saying that you are a heterosexual man who likes women, please stop, 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 stop. Because like, yo, the purse thing, it's not cute to me. It's not. To me, it makes me think that you're part of the LGBT community. I'm not gonna lie. It does. Because I don't understand why you want a purse. Like, it's a girl thing to me. It is. A girl, it's like a man looking at heels and be like, yo, I can't wait to buy those. But that's like a manly man. Like, wait, what? It is. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't. This Merce thing, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm sorry. I don't empathize with it. I can't. No, it's a purse. Men want to wear purses. It's not a Merce because it looks exactly like what any woman would buy. So it's a purse, and you want to wear purses now. That's what we're doing. And men who are straight and confident and, oh, I don't judge a man. No, I'm a manly man and whatever, are wearing purses. Yo, listen, there's
And men,
no.
men, 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 men.
And now you're
Oh,
willing to die over your purse. Like, you don't
one
have anything in it.
thousand. It was $1,700. He saved up for that Louis Vuitton.
To buy a
He said he
purse.
enjoy that bag.
He's a man, Shar. Okay, that's what you hear women do. No, I'm lost about this. Like, if I saw the story and it said, "Yo, this guy was willing to go kill someone because you tried to take his PS4," I'd be like, "Oh, well, yeah, men in their capes." You know what I mean? They try to take his Jordans. Oh, yeah, you know what I mean? You had like a nice pair of dress shoes for a man. There's a lot of things you could tell me in this story. I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, dude, no." No, I first before we talk about anything wrong on the other side, I'm not saying it's okay that just because you're a man with a purse and tight pants, and whatever, and giving off a very metrosexual vibe, that someone has the right to rob you. That's not what I'm saying. But we're just gonna focus on the fact that as a man, as a heterosexual man, you saved up so you could buy a purse, and then you were willing to die for that purse that costs as much as like a little putt putt car could have cost. The thing is, you could spend $1,000 on a purse as a man. As a man, you spent $1,000 on a purse, but you don't own a car, so you need rideshare. Explain that to me.
$1,700.
1,000. You could buy a car. You could have bought a car, but instead of buying the car, see, God was trying to teach you a lesson, right? Sometimes we don't understand lessons, so we have to be taught them the hard way. Because you don't own a car. So you take a bus or you take cabs. You don't own a car. So instead of you were able to save up the $1,700. That's a lot of money for you to save up in this day and age, right? So priorities would dictate. Well, you don't own a car, so you should buy one. But that's
Well,
not what you did. You bought a purse, not for your girlfriend who's been dying for one, and this is gonna get you or her eternal love forever. No, for yourself.
well, it's in
This
the
this
UK. He need a car. Yeah, that's it.
No. Just no. No, I refuse. Obviously, he needed a car. He wouldn't have needed the ride share. That's what it comes down to. Ah,
Well,
see, there you go. Catch 22. Now, with that being said, though, right? Let's go to the whole ride share, thing.
okay.
And people need to pay more attention. I mean, they give you so much information on these apps, but we were just talking about this on Arts Panel on Tuesday.
Hmm.
And we're talking about the difference between Zennials, because these Generation X dudes don't want to believe that there's such a thing called Zennials, but there is. We're the edge of Generation X and Millennial, so we don't quite have millennial values because we were born and raised under Generation X values. So we are a little different than people who are just a few years younger than us. right? And so you can see with a Zennial, we still have a healthy distrust of technology. So, it takes us
Hmm.
longer to pick up certain technology, and then we're very critical. Like you said, make sure you're checking that the driver looks like the driver and it's the right car, is exactly the right model, it's the same license plate, blah, blah, blah. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you're worried about something or to see evidence or whatever to protect yourself. But millennials take everything for granted. Some car pulls up, they don't even check their phone to see is this the right car with the right license plate and everything. They just go, "Hey, are you here for
Hmm.
so and so?" "Yeah, okay," and they jump in.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the thing. To me, Uber was supposed to actually make things. At first, I was very distrustful of it, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? It makes things safer. It makes things easier. You order your cab, tells you how long it's going to be for your cab to come. You can track that cab on your way to your house. You can look and see exactly who's really supposed to be coming, showing up in that car, their face, their license plate, everything. You can check their reviews. And then you can watch yourself inside of that car traveling to where you're supposed to go. So if for some reason
Yeah.
now there's some problem, this person wants to bring you somewhere else or whatever, your both of your phones are being tracked. So by the system. So to me, at first I didn't like that idea, but I'm like, nah, you know what? I can see how it makes you safer than the traditional cab system, where some cab pulls up and it has a light on it, and you go, hey, you're here for me? Yeah, great, and you jump in, right?
Hmm.
And you would think then, since that's what we used to do, that it must be older people doing it. But I highly doubt that. It's probably millennials, right? That are sitting there just jumping into these cars. It's not the right
Yeah.
car. They're getting hurt. Exactly. Because they just take everything for granted. They feel too safe with technology. They really do.
It's so easy. It's so convenient, and it's just there. So let's do it. And I get it. If that's your world, you have it in school. You push buttons. You do this. Okay, it works. Okay, that's all I need. So I
Mm-hmm.
get you don't really need to verify, problem solve, uh, double check. A lot of times you don't. It's just not required in a lot of their activities. So I understand it, but
Mm-hmm.
it is warning to be careful when you're out there. Just don't hop in a car. Just don't. Pull it up. Because so many people are using Lyft and Uber, and I'm pretty sure it's easy to steal one of those little signs and put in the window.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure it is. Oh yeah, I'm a Uber driver. Yeah, I'm a Lyft driver. Come on, get on in.
Mm-hmm. But see, the thing is, though, is that it's easy for you to just say so, right?
Hmm.
But again, this is what you have all this online technology that's going to support this person's cause or not. Because either when the car pulls up, the picture of the person driving is the same picture of the person in the car. It's the exact same car you're getting into with the exact same license plate. If that none of that matches up, that's not the car for you. Don't get into it. It seems simple enough to me. Like, what are you missing?
Yeah, it is simple, but they're not checking.
Mm-mm. Lazy. See, again, they're lazy. They have no attention span. They're so self absorbed a lot of times. Like, so, they're so busy talking on the phone, talking to their friend, talking about whatever, thinking about whatever, planning whatever. They're not paying attention to things like that. They take the Uber driver for granted or the Lyft driver for granted just as much as they took their parents for granted, right? Like, whatever, mom, let's go. Hurry up, I'm late. While they're not even looking at mommy because they're busy texting or whatever, right? Like, you're just here as like my chauffeur. It's like having things like Uber, they show up at your door when you call for them. I think it's giving everyone that false sense of like I own the world. Like, dude, that's not your car and your driver. It's some random dude who wants to make an extra buck, right? Like, he don't care about you at all. Mm-mm. You are not special. Just remember that. Like,
Yeah, and then also to add on Chicago's taxes. Last week they
mm.
have taxed on another tax for Uber and Lyft and all those other companies,
Oh
and it's
Lord,
called a congestion tax.
what?
It's literally called a congestion tax.
Oh,
And they started that because they're saying so many people are using it, going to work or whatever they're going downtown Chicago and in other areas. And they said if they add this tax, which will be, I think it's the way they shown it was $3 per ride, but that which was the weirdest thing. It said $3 a ride. Then it says because it had this chart. And they said $1.50 going, $1.50 coming back. I'm thinking that person may not take it going back. You never know. They could just be running late or whatever, and they just go. But that's how they worded it: $3 a ride. Well, no, they said $3 a day. So they'll tax you $1.50 going and $1.50 coming back if you use it that way.
Mm,
And it's called a congestion tax.
mm,
Um, they're hoping, and this is just the craziest thing. They said they're hoping this will deter some people from using rideshare so often um, because downtown is so congested. So that is the reason.
oh, okay, but
I'm
okay,
telling you, we got some excuses for some taxes. You
right?
ain't heard you ain't heard nothing yet. I just got to keep thinking of some more. Go ahead.
Ride share is a bad thing. That's like by definition saying it's so congested. What we should do is put a tax on carpooling. That way, no one carpools anymore. Wait, what? No, that's what you want people to do. You want people to start sharing rides to places rather than going as individuals, right? So if that's the case and people are doing ride, isn't rideshare a good thing? Share. By definition, you share. A lot of people do Uber Pool too, especially if they're moving downtown, right? Like they'll just do the ones where it's like, yeah, I don't care how many people are in the car as long as you get me from A to B. And it's a lot cheaper for you to do it that way. They won't drop you off exactly at your door. They'll function almost like a bus in a way. So they'll drop you off at the nearest corner or something without having to turn down your street or whatever it is. And they'll map out a route for 4 or 5 people, maybe pick up extra people on the way. You have to be at that corner on time for them to pick you up. So they're almost functioning a little bit like a personalized bus system.
Mhm.
So again, these are good things. I don't think congestion tax. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's
Now,
just a hustle. They're lying to you. Anytime you hear them come with some foolishness, they are lying to you. They do not care about you. It is all about the money. That is it. No. Mm-mm.
yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying, and this is for people that's doing the car by themselves, the ride share by themselves. I don't know how much is going up if you do share the ride with someone else. I don't remember that. I was just shocked to see it was $1.50 going, $1.50 coming back, and the title was congestion tax. I'm like, what?
Wow. This
But
is
yeah, they
such
gonna get taxed
bullshit.
too.
This is
Oh
such
yeah, it's
bullshit.
coming. I'm gonna have a whole lot more for you for July 1st. Oh, they coming.
Wow. And see, this is the thing, right? So when people talk in Ontario, and I'm not saying we don't have our ridiculous tax. I already told y'all about our gas, right? But people will be like, "Well, I don't want free health care because look at all the taxes y'all have to pay." But I would rather just know that there's a 14% tax on everything I buy over $5. There's a 7% tax otherwise, something like that. I would rather just know there's a 14% tax on everything I buy, period. Just upfront. That's just how it's going to be because there's sales tax on everything except for food. So if you go to the grocery store and you don't buy something processed, like you just buy unprocessed whatever, carrots or raw meat or whatever, there's no tax on that. But anything that is a product, you buy, there's a tax on it. I would rather just know that. I pay my 14% on everything and then we're good. And then you know what they can't do?
What's
They
that?
can't turn around and decide that there's an extra sweat tax or a manure tax or something on the vegetables and then add an extra 20% tax in there. Like they can't do that, right? And so I kind of would prefer them doing it that way rather than doing it this shady ass way where, you know what? No one's actually saving on taxes. Y'all might be even paying more taxes than we are technically, but y'all don't know it because what they're doing is they're building the extra 50% tax into at the cost of everything you buy. And that's why your produce is so much more expensive and your meats are so much more expensive and your cigarettes are so much more expensive and your everything's so much more expensive because they're building in taxes you don't even realize into everything, right?
Right.
In a way that we don't have that. We just have a 14% sales tax on everything. The end. 14, 1 4, not 40, like y'all are getting on every damn thing built in. No, 1 4. The end. right? Bunch of bananas is still under $1 here. Just say, like, damn. Mm.
Oh
Old
yeah,
government.
they get us. They get us real good. And there's some more stuff coming. And so trust me, it's a whole lot more coming. That's just the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of it. The two things that was mentioned this past week. But there's more coming. Every
Mm.
January they're gonna say something, and July 1st it takes effect. Because they
Mm-hmm.
did that for soda tax. I'm trying to think, was that last? I think it was 2018. Yeah, I think it was 2018. It was a
Soda tax.
penny on every ounce. I think that's what the tax was. A penny on every ounce.
What?
And that lasts about uh, I don't think it was an entire month, almost a month, I think, because it was so bad. They started laying people off at the soda
Wow.
companies, and yeah, it was really bad.
Wow.
Now,
Over a cent, a penny an ounce. That
yeah,
doesn't
penny
seem like that much.
it doesn't, but it was a penny an ounce. So if you bought a 6 pack of Coca Cola, it was it 12 ounces in each can. So that's 12 cents a can times 6 cans. Um,
Mm.
if
Okay.
you buy, I think they have it in a 6 pack of 20 ounces too. I think they have it that way.
Mm.
That's the money. Then if you buy a 2 liter, that's the money. So, and it might have went to the restaurant too. I'm not for certain if they
True.
gone as far as doing the restaurant, but it was. I want to say they did,
No, you
and
know
only
what?
because
That
I
is a
don't
lot.
drink it. Yeah, and only because I don't drink it is the only reason why I really wasn't concerned.
Right.
And I and they said this was because they didn't want, they wanted people to be more healthier and make better choices.
Uh huh.
Is what they
Right.
tried.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Did they tax white flour? Because there's the same amount of white sugar in that, or more processed sugar. So did they tax this the fructose high fructose corn syrup? Oh no, but they wanted people to be healthy, so don't drink pop. Really? Really? Okay. Yeah, I believe you. That's totally what it was.
That's what it was.
hmm they just listen. You know what happened was they I don't know if they thought they needed more money, they needed some leverage somewhere. They went to Pepsi or to Coca Cola, whoever. Actually, I think they're both owned by the same person now. I said, listen, I need your help with something. I need you to do this. And Mr. Pepsi Coke said, I ain't do shit for you. And they went, oh, no? Okay, cool. 1 second. Right? And did this tax thing. And Mr. Pepsi Coke said, I'm going to go out of business like a year if this. Okay, you know what? Okay, fine, fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. Just lift the tax. Please, God, just lift the tax. And all of a sudden, look, tax is gone. Everything went back to normal. And whatever shady business behind the scene got done. Y'all don't know that Mr. Pepsi Coke had that kind of power. Yes, he does. All right. So.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it lasts a little bit. I think either a month or a little bit less than a month. It wasn't that long, but I mean, it was protests. It was, oh boy, people were upset about that. They
Mm.
were not kidding. And also, if you think about it, it affected those that were at ball games, and because it wasn't football season, it was baseball season, and
Mm.
they sell sodas. So it's already expensive in those things anyway. So just add some more, probably another dollar for a $5 soda. It wasn't looking too good, I guess. It was like, But yeah, it was really bad. And so they cut that. And I was surprised. I didn't think they were going to do it, but they actually did.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Now it's,
listen, they got everyone addicted. They know that the human brain and body responds to sugar the same way it responds to heroin or crack. Um, in fact, when it's liquid sugar, like it is with Coke, they know that that's literally what's happening. Your body, in a way, is being poisoned, and you're getting like a high in the same way you would get from heroin. And they know that's what's happening with your body. So they actually know that basically drinking sugar, fizzy sugar water, is toxic. So they know it's incredibly unhealthy for you. So if they really, really, really cared, then they would do more than put a 1 penny per ounce tax on stuff, right? Like you put like some kind of impossible tax on it, and then guess what would happen? Those companies would go under. They'd only be able to sell one type of thing. People would only buy it on special occasions because it'd be so expensive, and there you go. That's what would happen. But they don't actually care. Again, they do not care about you. It's all about money. That's it. Trust me, there's nothing you could tell these people they don't already know. They know it's killing you. They just don't care. Just saying. I mean, goddamn. Listen, margarine. Okay, you know margarine, right? Oh, margarine's a
Uh-huh.
healthy alternative. Margarine is one molecule away. It's like a molecule that has like the average like regular food has way under 10 molecules that are all linked together to make that thing, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and and margarine has like almost 30, I believe. And the thing is that it's one molecule difference away
Mm-hmm.
from plastic.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the chain for plastic and you look at the chain for margarine, they differ by one molecule at the very end. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So basically, what you're spreading on your bread is plastic. And then what they're telling you is this is a healthier alternative to butter. So basically, eating spreadable plastic is a healthier alternative than actual real food that comes out of an animal we probably shouldn't be eating their milk anyway, since the milk is meant for the baby cows. But neither here nor there. Point is, at least it's real food versus plastic. That's all I'm trying to say. They do not care about you at all because they know this. It's not like magical new news they came out with like 5 years ago. Okay, I was in college. It was one of the very first things my bio teacher. She used to give us like little clips at the start of our classes about
Uh-huh.
info, and I remember that was one of the first weeks. So that was like in 2007 or 2008. Okay, so this is information's been around for a very long time, and
Mm-hmm.
it that wasn't new when she shared it. And they're
Right.
still telling you margarine is their heart healthy option. They are
Yeah.
in commercials. They're lying to
Mm-hmm.
you and they don't care. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear.
Oh, how dare you say these type of things? I mean, they're telling you, they're saying, "Hey, this is a healthy alternative. Got something else for you."
Right?
Now, as far as our bottled water tax, that has not gone away. Uh, I believe it was supposed to be temporary, which I know it wasn't going to be. I know we're over. Let me see, I know we're good 10 years in. Let me see. This is uh, dang, 20, yeah. I think we're a good 10 years in, and we pay a nickel on every bottle of water in Chicago. Now, if you go outside of Chicago, you don't have to pay that. Now, going back to the marijuana, I wanted to mention now it's legal now in Illinois, but I'm wondering, just like it was for people that would buy their cigarettes, they would go to Indiana. I'm wondering if there's a way they can go get marijuana in Indiana. I don't know about it. If they have dispensaries there, I don't know. But I'm wondering if they do, people are probably going to do that, just like they did with the cigarettes. Because, like I'm telling you, cigarettes are
Mm.
thir 12 or $13. It might even be more than that. When I go to the store, I'm going to look over there and see. And then I'll mention it next time. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
expensive. Those
It
taxes
used to be
on
a
there.
lot cheaper to buy cigarettes in America, actually, like versus buying cigarettes in Canada. It was more
Hmm.
expensive to buy a pack of like, so you buy, I mean, yeah, it would be more expensive to buy Marlboros because those are foreign here. But I'm saying to buy like one of our Canadian brands, like Demorier or something, it was more expensive. Like it was like say $6-7 here when it was still like 3.50 to buy a pack of Marlboros in America, right? So that means if y'all have gone up to like $13 on average, where for ours, like I will say we do have
Mhm.
some cigarettes that are a little bit more pricey, but I'm pretty sure that overall they're not quite that high up yet. They're
Ah,
close, but they're not up that high. So I find it surprising because America was a lot cheaper.
mm, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we taxed it out.
Tax, 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 tax. Right? They're
Yeah.
smart. And they already know, listen, no one likes the word tax. So you can't put it in your speeches. You can't tell people you're really going to do it or whatever. All you do is get elected and then build taxes into every damn thing no one's paying attention to. That's what you do.
Right.
Right. And so if you build a tax into something that, okay, so you have people who are anti vaping, right? So if you build a tax into vaping, no one cares. You have people who are anti marijuana. So you build a tax into marijuana, no one cares, right? Because you have the pros, but you also have the cons. So they make sure that they don't tell you about the taxes that everyone would be mad at. Everyone. They only tell you about the taxes that they know that a lot of people would be like, good, you deserve it. You should have to be taxed for smoking that marijuana junk, right? So there you go. Oh my. I love these conversations. We don't have these conversations enough, I feel. And I do think that to an extent, people are slightly afraid to have these conversations. They are
Mm,
afraid of the impact of having these conversations, not from the community, from people listening.
uh,
They are afraid that someone of importance will hear, and they will put them on some type of radar or hit list or whatever if they speak too much like this.
mm,
Yeah, and I've actually heard people literally say that. So I am happy we are having this conversation today because it's got to be said. Listen, I know. I know. I understand. Listen, I'm not even an American citizen. I don't even have like protection. Like, yo, listen, y'all CIA can't come for me or something. No, they can, because I don't live in your country. So I'm just telling you that, in my very honest and humble opinion, they don't care about y'all. It's all about money. That's what I'm saying. Just to let you know. I'm not saying my government gives a shit about us either. I'm not really at all remotely. I'm just saying that in a balance between the two governments, I would still have to choose my own currently. But of course, between our governments collectively on this continent and some other countries, I would choose theirs. So, to each their own. But yeah.
yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be
It's true.
honest.
This is
Gotta
what
be
I said.
honest.
Yeah, the honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what else happened as far as with taxes. Um, I don't have this. I had this receipt. And I went to Whole Foods, and I'm trying to think. Did I go to a different Whole Foods and it had about 6 or 7 lines of taxes? It broke out. It broke down the city, state, county, and then I must have had something with alcohol in it because that's a couple of taxes there. And I couldn't believe I looked at all those lines. I'm like, what's going on? What is Whole Food doing? But they actually were just breaking it down. It wasn't any extra. They
Mm-hmm.
just broke it down so you can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found that to be so interesting. I'm like, wow, I must reconsider some things here.
Right? Mm-hmm. No, I'm telling you. No, I'm not sure how it works in America. Like I said, I know that here, like I tell people all the time. Listen, y'all are saying, well, my groceries are so expensive monthly, and I'll say, how would you feel if I could cut down your groceries by we'll say the price of that by about 25%, but key note is you would have to be willing to put in more work. And they go, how would you do that? And I say, okay, easy. So the first 15% would be if you never buy anything that is pre-made, pre-packaged, pre-produced, you don't pay any taxes here for that. So you don't pay 14%, you pay nothing. Okay. The other 10% is going to be that by you actually making it yourself, the exact same thing yourself, you will be able to make more of it for less money.
Hmm.
So I can save you at least a quarter of what you spend monthly, just by doing those two things. But see, people, they'll watch shows like, let's say, The Biggest Loser. I got Biggest Loser on my mind because my videos. Yes, I recorded stuff, y'all. I know I told y'all I was gonna do it. I did it. I recorded it. I will be editing it. It will come out. And so I am talking about Jillian Michaels. And I'll say, I've watched The Biggest Loser. Like, name a weight loss show. Like, I've watched every version of The Biggest Loser. First of all, so Biggest Loser Australia, Biggest Loser New Zealand. Like, yo, I'm into that show. But there's a whole bunch of other weight loss
Hmm.
shows, and I watch all of them. I don't know why. It's my thing. And one thing that they'll always do when they get to the nutrition part, right? Most of these shows are not going to try to sell you on some type of diet or whatever. What they do is they teach you how to grocery shop. And what they tell you is,
Hmm.
listen, the only things of value in this whole entire store that you really need are the perimeter of the store. Don't even walk up and down the aisles. You don't need them. If you shopped just the perimeter of the store every single day,
Hmm.
and that's all you bought, you will be able to give your family complete healthy meals, all the food groups, everything that you need, and you'll be able to do it cheaper, right? It's all that because the whole entire middle of the grocery store, so the most of it is all prepackaged foods. You don't need prepackaged foods, right? If you want to go into, let's
Hmm.
say, the canned goods aisle, so you want to pick a couple specific aisles you need. So you're going to go into the canned goods aisle, pick up some canned goods to fill up your pantry. You know what I mean? You want to go pick up maybe some brown rice or whatever it is. So, there's specific aisles. Maybe you want to go to, obviously, the spice aisle to get lots of dried spices as well as fresh ones and whatever, right? But
Uh-huh.
they tell you this in every one of these shows, and I watched them say the same thing in the American shows overall. Is like, well, you feel like you're spending more money, but you actually really aren't. If you look at the fact that if you make all of this, right, this meal overall is going to feed your whole entire family for, let's say, 2 days or maybe even 3 days, depending on how big the meal is, right? And how
Uh-huh.
much would you have spent per day? See, yeah, no, it's actually cheaper. If it feels like it's more expensive because you're actually grocery shopping, so you're spending a lot at once, right?
Uh-huh.
And I watch them do this, and people just look like, oh, I didn't know that, right? I didn't think about that. I didn't realize there would be an extra tax for this. I didn't realize that this is actually the thing that's killing me because every single thing I eat is covered in sugar and salt. Oh, I had no idea. So, I think that's the thing. It's like knowledge is power, and a lot of us
Hmm.
don't even have the knowledge to start off with. So, we're buying things not because we want to eat unhealthily. A lot of
Hmm.
times we're buying things we think are healthy. We buy those stupid energy bars, or trail mix bars or whatever, and we think that's a healthy option, and we don't realize that there's nothing healthy about that option.
Hmm.
But we think someone told us trail mix is healthy, or the energy bars are more healthy than this or that, and so that's what we should
Right.
eat. And it's like, again, knowledge is power. That's why I was so happy when you brought oh, what was her name?
Asada. And she'll be back soon too, Asada.
Loved her, because she knew her stuff, and that's something we need. We need someone who can make those connections for us between mind, health, body. What are we supposed to buy? What are we supposed to eat? What are we supposed to stay away from? We need to know that stuff, and it's out there. We just have to be willing to take that information in and listen to it.
I said Asada because I'm thinking about Asada Muhammad. I meant
Hmm.
Amani. I'm sorry.
Oh, Amani. Okay. I'm like, oh, her name's Asada too. Okay, well, that's possible because I honestly did not remember her name. So, but it didn't sound that wrong. But I guess it's because of the ah. You get the Amani, Asada. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I loved her, and I'm ready for like round two. You have no idea because. Like right after she left, I came up with like 25 different instances in my life where I needed her advice, but she wasn't there. And I was like, I was like, damn, why didn't I have this problem? Why didn't I remember I get this problem before? Like, so I got to write it down. And then next time I have the opportunity, hopefully I'll be able to be like, hey, so random question that I didn't plan for the last 3 months to ask you. One of those.
Right.
Oh man, but yeah, we need more of that, and like especially because I mean, because here, right, healthcare is free.
Hmm.
Obviously, in America, you need health insurance or whatever. But then, if you want to
Hmm.
actually get more naturopathic type of help, that's also not covered. A lot of insurance companies
Hmm.
don't even cover much of it. and not for extended periods of time. I was speaking to a couple American people about it just the other day, including a woman of the past, Gigi. And
Mm-hmm.
so she was saying, yeah, like, I mean, it's not too bad. She said it's like $100 for initial visit and then maybe $60, $80 for this and that and whatever. So it's a money expenditure. But, when she was talking about the issues that she had before she went to this naturopath, like a real
Uh-huh.
homeopathic doctor, versus now she's not on any types of medications at all, no painkillers, no nothing, and she's pain free. She can walk for long periods now. All the
Okay.
things that were wrong are
Mm-hmm.
fixed. It's like this is all homeopathic stuff. This is there's no she's not taking pills, she's taking supplements and eating changed her diet. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It can really change your life. We just got again, we need the knowledge.
Yeah, we definitely need it. And once we get it, start applying it, and you'll see that change.
Mhm.
And it's not
Absolutely.
immediate. It's not tomorrow. You start Tuesday and then Wednesday. Oh no, you have to continue, people.
Right?
No microwave, nothing. I know that's what you're used to. I don't see that. I've been doing this for 2 days. Continue, please. It's been 3 days. Continue, please. It's been a week. Continue, please.
Sure. That reminds me of a conversation I was having with my husband today. Right? So he's sitting at work, bored, and so he goes, I really want to get rid of this on my and he sends me this very blurry looking picture of what I can guess is his face, but I can't figure out what he's talking about, right? Because I can't even figure out
Uh-huh.
where on it. I know it's his face. I'm pretty sure. I think I see his nose and his lips. I'm like, what's going on? She sends me another picture, and okay, to give you a little background. So this man has horrible, horrible like snoring. But not only does he snore, he'll like it's like his windpipe will close while he's sleeping, and then he starts like suffocating, and I'm like watching him like can't breathe. Like it's terrifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up going to like the sleep clinic thing and whatever, and he got one of those sleep masks. Now, what they did was they gave him like this sort of like lubrication slash stuff that you're supposed to put on the sides of your nose, so that way if the mask rubs on the sides of your nose, that it's okay. But he's a man; he don't need nothing. So when he ran out of it, he didn't say anything. He just kept using it and letting this dry silicone stuff rub on the side of his nose, which of course it was irritating it and whatever. And then he got these, and remember, he's very dark skinned. Like he's like
Uh-huh.
almost blue black dark skinned. And he got actually black lines. Like there were
Oh.
huge lines down the sides of his nostrils, like huge and very 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 dark, very obvious. And he's not used to having any kind of mark on his skin or whatever. This was like in 2000 and like 10 or 2011, Shar. Okay, it's 2020, and he's like, I really want to get rid of these things. And I'm like, well, remember, it's a little bit better than it used to be. It used to be a lot bigger and a lot longer, and it's better. But what
Mm-hmm.
happened was you stopped doing the thing I told you to do every day to get rid of it after what, like, I don't know, 2 weeks, because it didn't make it just magically go away.
Right.
Right. And he's like, oh, right. What was that thing again? Right? Like he's like he never tried again. That was it. He just stares at it every day and goes, I hate this thing, and does nothing. I'm like, listen, all you gotta do, you don't even have to buy special stuff. You just get a warm washcloth. So when you wash your face, and make sure the washcloth is kind of warm, and you just kind of exfoliate. You need to exfoliate exactly that area because you need to get new skin cells to build up. You need to get the old skin cells to shut off. So you do that, and then you make sure you moisturize well. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And from him doing that, right, and encouraging extra exfoliation in that area, and then doing the mask once a week, it was already like honestly maybe 20% better. But he
Okay.
gave up. That this man will put in effort for a maximum of 2 weeks. If it is not basically gone, he's not doing it anymore anyway. It's got 2 weeks. That's it. I'm like, he is a millennial. Okay, he's 2 years older than me. He is a millennial. We should be switched. We should be switched in age because that man is a millennial. Like I don't know where he came from, but he has no attention span and he has no like follow through. Like no, I shouldn't have to work this hard for that long. Right. So it's like he's one of those people. Like, oh my God. So just when he said that, it just reminded me of that conversation. I'm just like, all the work
Mm-hmm.
I did all this research into it and whatever. Here's the thing. It's like, it's easy. You don't have to remember to put a bunch of products on. Like, it's easy. Just do this. Take your washcloth and do this every night. No. Nope.
Instant. Want instant.
Right?
hmm Yeah, I know all about it. You want instant. You got to
Mm.
continue. Do you
Right?
you guys have what is the name of the drugstores there in Canada?
Okay, well, our probably our most popular one, that's like a chain, is Shoppers Drug Mart. Everyone loves Shoppers Drug Mart. Y'all don't have it.
Correct.
But so after that, our second most popular one was Pharma Plus. But Pharma Plus got purchased by Rexall, and I believe y'all have Rexall, right?
I've heard of them, and I'm wondering if they're in some cities
Mm-hmm.
because they're not in mine. Okay.
Yeah, but like, cause I'm pretty sure Rexall's an American company, and they came in
Mm-hmm.
and bought Rexall, or Pharma Plus, so now it's called Rexall Pharma Plus. Like, yeah, we get it. Other
Okay.
than that, the next, I'll say, other than that, really like Walmart. I know they have a pharmacy up in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like smaller, just like not chains of pharmacies. Like the pharmacy I go to is not a chain. If I have to go to one in a pinch, I'll go to the Shoppers Drug Mart, because I like the way they have their system set up where every single shoppers talks to every shoppers. So if I go to one in some random place 5 hours away I've never been to, and I give them my name, they have all my
Mm-hmm.
information. They know what prescriptions I previously tried, what I'm allergic to. They have all of that. So I like that. But I mean, the one that I go to basically is like a mom and pop. Like it's small, it's very intimate, but they actually care and they know their stuff. So that's more
Okay.
what I do.
Well, I asked that because
Why do you ask?
we have a drugstore called CVS Pharmacy, which is I think it's considered the same as Rite Aid in the South. Same people,
Okay.
my understanding. So with CVS Pharmacy, um, I'll say maybe 7, 8 years ago, they decided as a company that they were going to stop selling cigarettes. They said no more tobacco products
Mm-hmm.
because it's bad for everyone and we're not going to sell it anymore.
Right.
So I'm going to laugh because I know you're thinking, no, they don't care about you. It's something about that. Now, as far as what it is, I don't know. I really don't. But um, it's a drugstore. That's
Mm-hmm.
what they are. And
Mm-hmm.
they announced last week. Oh, I forgot another thing I was supposed to mention with marijuana. I remember it. They announced last week that they were going to start allowing people. Well, I don't want to use the word merge. They have a relationship with UPS, and you can drop off your packages there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw a picture of this, and I looked. I think I got an email actually, and I looked. I'm like, okay, so this is a pharmacy. These are the cashiers that ring you up, don't know how to answer a question if you have one,
Mm-hmm.
not for certain if how to use the coupon, all of that kind of stuff. I'm like, so I'm supposed to go to CVS Pharmacy, hand you my package, and just truly believe that all this is going to work out for me. I apologize, but I just cannot. I'm just not able to do that. I'm just, you know, I have a saying: if you do one thing and you can't even get that right, I don't think you should try anything else. But
True.
it's something going on where they're able to get more money. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that, of course, that's what it is because our other pharmacy, drugstore, which is Walgreens, another large chain,
Mm-hmm.
they start taking FedEx packages. And you can
Mm.
go and pick up your FedEx package there. So
Hmm.
I guess CVS said, well, we're going to hook up with UPS and we're going to take packages. Now, I don't even trust Walgreens with the FedEx package. And I'm just not trusting CVS either. And I say that because of the ones that I'm aware of that may be close by,
Mm-hmm.
they're not too good at what they do, as I said before.
Right.
So I'm just not trusting them as far as handling my package. I'm just not.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Um,
I think that's
it's
interesting though.
hmm
Because Shoppers Drug Mart, the one I told you about, they have right, our
hmm
regular mail goes through Canada Post, and a lot of the Canada Post locations are in Shoppers Drug Mart. So
mm
I'm thinking this connection between being somewhere like a depot where you can, do the mail stuff is an interesting one. Now, Shoppers has had it almost my whole life. As long as I can remember, you could go to
mm
Shoppers to get envelopes and mail things and whatever. But what I'm thinking is they started
hmm
doing this connection because of okay, basically, again, we are in the convenience age, right?
yes.
People are losing interest in doing anything unless they can push a button and go, that was easy. And people don't like to, just generally get up or do anything, just period. They just don't. Um, so what I'm thinking is what they're probably lobbying for, they're going to start lobbying for at some point. They know is in the works
hmm
is the ability for them to mail or FedEx courier direct to their customers their prescriptions. So instead of you having to come in for a prescription, you can have it couriered to you. They'd probably start with people in need,
hmm
the elderly, people who have serious chronic health conditions. You'd probably have to qualify first. Like it wouldn't just be everybody who could go get their prescriptions mailed to them. People
Uh-huh.
who have regular stuff, people who have refills. But I think that's what they're setting themselves up to do. Currently, you can't do that. Currently, you cannot get your legal prescription just mailed to you. It's not possible. In fact, and I know that it's the same in America, but like when a pharmacist will do it for you, that's like out of the goodness of their own heart. They should not be doing it. They are not allowed to take your prescriptions off the scene. My pharmacist has done that for me, but I know that they do it for some of their older patients or patients who have been longtime customers, and then something goes wrong, they break a leg or something. They will do that, right? So I think that they're setting themselves up for what's going to happen with technology, where you're going to be able to, just like with a check, like you can deposit a check now by taking a picture of it. I think it's
Uh-huh.
going to be like that. You're going to be able to put your prescription into the pharmacy by taking a picture of it and depositing it into the pharmacy, and then the pharmacy will same day or next day FedEx it to you. I think that's what they're working. And so these pharmacies want to have a monopoly. So they're saying, well, I'm going to set it up with FedEx from now. So that way I have a monopoly and FedEx only works for my company. And then the other one, well, I'm going to have UPS. And so that way it's going to beat out smaller people. It's going to beat out anyone who is an independent owned pharmacy. They're not going to be able to keep up unless they let themselves be purchased by one of these bigger companies, so that way they can get the same day courier service and reliability through the FedEx or UPS or whatever. That's what I think is happening. That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't I'm not for certain of that, but I do know for a diabetic, because I had a neighbor that was a diabetic, he was able to get his medication mailed to him. And I think it was a 90-day supply. And I do remember reading that as far as with insurance. And of course, it had to be something that was approved before they're able to
Mm-hmm.
do that. Now, I get it because there are standalone companies or sites for FedEx and UPS, and that costs money to run those places. You got to pay rent. So I get that. So if you can hustle and have your cashier to get off register two to go get your package in the back, that's cheaper for the companies. I get that. But that's the thing. I don't trust that because I've seen the type of people that work and they just don't care too much for their job in the first place. And for
Mm.
them to handle packages, oh, I'm sorry. I do not trust you at all. Not at all. I'm
That
gonna
is
see if
fair.
I'm like,
No, I'm
not
not gonna
at
lie,
all.
it's fair. Like, okay, listen, I worked in the mailroom Well, okay, not in the mailroom. Well, actually, I did work in one mailroom, but I also worked like on the line at FedEx. And so basically, what it is, so let's say you're getting packages delivered from one side of the country to the other, from Alaska to America or whatever, right? There's different depots that things will switch off from one plane to the next or from one truck to the next. And then basically, they come through the different facilities, like say ours, right? And then what we have to do basically is send them to the next right destination, right? So
Mm-hmm.
your stuff comes. It's like, okay, when I see the things that have these designations on them, let's say the letters A, B, and C on them, I got to pull them. So I got to take them off the line and put them down the conveyor belt. And then the chick at the bottom of the line, she's got to pull and make copies of all of the documentation that are in those boxes, send them back up so that way they can go where they're supposed to go. Right. And then someone further down the line, they see, oh, this is when an A goes here, B goes here, C goes there, whatever it is. Right. So
Uh-huh.
now I'm not saying we didn't care about your packages, but I'm just saying that you could have had a multi-billion-dollar piece of technology in that package, or you could have had a pair of socks. We don't know, and we're not treating it special. Even if it says fragile, we're not. Okay, listen, I have to keep up with the conveyor belt. I don't have time to treat your package with care. I'm being real. I'm flying it down the conveyor belt. Yo, if that thing rolls and whatever, no one's sitting there going, oh, let's make sure it's not broken. No one cares. Okay, we're assuming and we're hoping for your sake that you were smart enough to package it in such a way that short of us throwing it against the wall on purpose, the thing's not going to break. That's what we're hoping for your sake, because I don't have time to worry. Like, I don't. I'm sorry. Like, they don't give me. Listen, we are open. We would get paid for 4 hours, right? And the reason why we're getting paid for 4 hours is because the thing could come at any time. And we just have to be available for that 4 hours. But we only got like an hour from the time that it starts for us to finish, maybe 2 hours, right? We don't have all damn day. It's not like we have 8 hours to sort this stuff. It's gotta come here, get sorted quick, and go again, right? Because remember, you want your stuff overnight, bro. Like, again, do you want it overnight and quick, or do you want it careful? You make a choice. That's all I want
Right.
to. You make the
Pick your
choice. Which one do you
poison.
want? Yeah, right. Like, be real. I don't know what's in the.
Okay.
Do you want everyone? Listen, the only way people are going to treat yourself with care is if you write it on the box. This is what's in here. Because we don't know what's in the box, right? Like, I'm not saying we don't care about your multi-billion-dollar piece of fragile technology. I'm saying we don't know that's what's in the box. We don't know how much that box, again, it could be a whole thing of socks or sweaters or books. We don't know. No one tells us, right? And you don't want people to know what's in your mail. I understand that. You don't want the whole world to know your business. So then understand we're not treating everything like it's fragile. Handle it with care. It must be delicate. No one has time for that. So no, yeah, no, I understand. No, I gotta say it's fair. It's fair. Listen, I was there. I'm not saying we didn't break nothing, so far as I know. Might have. I don't know. I was a temp, but still, I'm saying, like, yo, if this shit happens, shit happens. I had to meet my quote. I didn't have time. I didn't have time. It ain't my fault. Y'all got greedy and lazy and impatient. So it is what it is.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh no, you ain't getting my
Mm-hmm.
packages. I ain't dropping nothing off.
Mm-mm. Nope.
I'm gonna continue to go to the actual UPS um, location and the actual FedEx location. I'll have a better chance there than stopping at these places, the drugstore. Like, that's all right. But
Mm-hmm.
but I did, notice that. I'm like, okay, I think you guys are, trying to save money, trying to check this out. And I'm also going to, because I didn't consider anything as far as with the medication part, and that could be added to it as well. But um, my packages, uh-uh. You stick to just what you're doing. You ring people up and try to count the money correctly, give the receipt, bag the product up, and we good. Just do that. Just stick to that.
Mm-hmm. It would be nice, but I'm telling you, they don't care.
I
They
sure
don't.
don't.
It's not about you. It's not about your packages. Okay? It's about money. It's always about money and winning the race. That is all it ever is about. All you have to do when you listen to a story, you say, all right, how could this be about them winning money? Right? Like that's all. right? Because you know that whether it's inside of, like, it's not about saving money because, oh well, we'll share the same space as this place. Like, no, you know that's not what it is. It's got to be something else. So then you
Mm-hmm.
look at, well, what could the something else be? And that's why I said, I'm like, nah, they're preparing for something. That's the only thing that makes sense, is they're preparing for something. Because why are they doing it now? Right? You have
Mm-hmm.
to look at, why did this change now? What is happening now? And what is the climate like? And I know what the climate's like. The climate's like everyone's ordering everything from Amazon. That's what the climate's like. The climate is like, you know what? People are able to order stuff online they weren't able to before. People are willing to take risks and order things that might be deadly or might not be anything what they ordered, so they don't have to leave their house. This is happening. So it's like, you got to stay competitive. Places who are stores these days, like as far as like a mall or something like that, business is going down, right?
Yeah.
Because people don't want to leave their house. So you have to figure out a way of being competitive. How can you keep your doors open and continue serving the public? You got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go. Right there. Look, I'm telling you, CVS. Watch, 5 years. 5 years from now, you're just you take a picture, right? So the doctor tells you need antibiotics. You're gonna go home into your bed. You're gonna take a picture of the antibiotics thing. You're gonna send it to CVS. You're gonna put in your address, right? And they're gonna say, okay, you pick a delivery schedule slot time. Do you want it today, after this time, or tomorrow, whatever? You pick the time, and it's gonna come to your door. There's not gonna be any more standing in crazy lines unless you really, really need this thing immediately. Like, you will die without getting it immediately. No one's standing in line for nothing. They're just gonna order it. It's gonna come to their door within 24 hours. Watch. I can see it. That's exactly what it looks like right there. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. I know, I know. I sound like one of those people. I do. I sound like I have my tinfoil hat on. I get it. It's because I do. But I'm also right. You'll see.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Don't even worry about it. They gonna be looking at me funny too.
Right?
They sure are. But yeah, I always look at stuff like that sometimes, and I'm like, why are you doing this? What's this all about? Shoot, you don't even do that right. You gonna do that? Okay. But yeah, I be scratching my head, be trying to figure stuff out. I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, let's see. And I said I was gonna remember. I was gonna.
And I
Oh,
said I was going to remember. Dang, I can't remember.
and I remember
Yes.
for the marijuana being legalized. Um, the manager of the company that I was working for had a meeting, and he said that okay, January 1st, it's legal. However, you better not go out, on your lunch and your break smoking it because if we smell anything, you're out of here. And also random drug testing. And if it's because we do have a drug, you're going to have. And he said, I'm having this meeting telling everyone because we had to let someone go that just did it. So we're letting you know that now. And it wasn't even January 1st. It was December 20. I guess they announced it. I copied on his break time, his lunch. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. So um, that's the
Mm.
other thing that I'm wondering. How is that going to affect with the random drug testing?
They're going to have to change their policy. So, for example, if you have a job that basically says that on the job, at no point can you have anything of a mind altering substance, which includes legal prescription medications that might cause drowsiness or weariness or highness or whatever. If you have one of those
Yeah.
policies, right? Because some people do have jobs like that, and it's a big problem for them if they get an injury or something like that because they can't take their prescribed medications and be on the premises of work. So if it's a job like that, all right, you win. But if you're allowed to take your regular prescription medications, which are all legal, you're allowed to take those during the day and at night. You're allowed to take whatever it is that they prescribe for you, except for illegal drugs. then you cannot be fired for taking something legally. Now, if it's during the day, and see, to an extent I understand it. So if you are legally
Mm-hmm.
impaired, if you are legally impaired at the time, you shouldn't be at work. Now we all know this, right? So smoking weed during work hours, like you went out on lunch and came in high and you get caught doing that, well, you're legally impaired. It's legal for you to drink alcohol too. But do you go
Yeah.
out for lunch at work and have several martinis and come back wasted? No, that would be stupid, right? So I
Yeah.
think it'll be the same thing, but they're not going to win if they try to random drug test people and people have the presence of marijuana in their system, or, whatever, because they've done marijuana at some point in the last 30, 60 days. They're not going to have cause to fire them. They don't have cause to fire them. They would have cause to fire them if they were on the premises while legally intoxicated. But this is now a legal substance. So you are allowed to take it at home the same way you're allowed to drink alcohol, the same way you're allowed to take your prescription narcotics, whatever it is. So you can't fire people for doing something legal in their spare time when their time is theirs, as long as when they come to work, they are entirely sober.
Now, me and a coworker was having a conversation about it because he was saying it's going to be interesting because if they're allowed to test you randomly, we already know what happens with our men anyway. They're already getting a bad deal. I was thinking about that. I'm like, okay, so what's going to end up happening with them if they, even though it's legal, and they decide to say, hey, Johnny, come here. We're going to randomly test you. They're doing it by hair. I think that's the last time for employment. I think mine was the thing. And I forgot how long it stays in the hair, they said, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I just started thinking, the worst after we had the meeting. I'm hoping this doesn't go that bad. I'm just hoping. But
Well, like, okay, so the way it would be with like
mhm,
any drug in your hair, um, is okay. It would grow almost like rings on a tree, right? So
mhm,
let's say you did some weed this week. Okay. That's going to grow as like a little ring on your hair, and then let's say in a month you did some, I don't know, heroin. That would be a ring on your tree. And so they can actually look, and based on how far away this drug is from the root of your hair, they can also tell that it hasn't been recently that you've done something or you've been exposed to something, because it's not coming from your hair being in the presence of marijuana. It's coming from your body, emanating this stuff that you've taken in into your hair. See, the thing is, like I said, they would have legal cause, I believe. Like,
mhm,
you'd have to look at the wording. But if you're allowed to take legal prescriptions and legal drugs, the only thing you're not allowed to take is illegal drugs, period. And that's your drug policy. Well, short of them, again, if they say, listen, I think you're intoxicated, let's go test you. They can tell if there's trace elements, like as far as
mhm.
you've been high, but not today. And they can tell when you're intoxicated today, right?
Yeah,
So they have cause there. Again, if you decided to go out and smoke on your lunch break and you got caught, well, that's on you. But if people
yeah,
are getting fired, and I'm saying I'm pretty positive they have cause for them to go to court and fight for being wrongfully terminated. You can't just fire people for doing something legal in their spare time. You can't.
yeah, and that's what I'm hoping. Is
Mm-hmm.
that because that is the right thing? But
Mm-hmm.
I know how things actually turn out sometimes. I'm hoping it works out for us as a
It
group.
comes down to, it's not going to. It's not going to unless, so when I say it's not going to, I say it's not going to automatically, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about, they're absolutely going to do. And they're going to fire people without cause. Now, it's on us at that point. What are we going to do about it?
Hmm.
Are we going to do nothing about it, or are we going to do something about it? And that's what they count on black people, specifically black people, minorities sometimes, but overall black people. They also do it to women in some contexts too. They expect minorities to not fight back because of basically that learned helplessness syndrome, right? Once
Oh
you get
yeah.
fired, well, I'm black, the world is against me, there's nothing I can do about it, even if I fought, I'd lose. So you get caught in that narrative and you don't even try. And you don't see the point in fighting if you're going to lose anyway. And especially with the younger generations, right? So like the Zennial, Millennial, Generation Z's, I think that they don't understand the point in fighting and losing. If enough people fight and lose, right, you're gonna figure out all the
Yeah.
things that lose, and one person's gonna be like, okay, well, they tried these 6 tactics, I'm gonna try tactic number 7, and you just keep going until you find one that wins, and then you make it precedent, and then there you go. But there's a point in fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and standing up. And these day and age, look at what happened with the Me Too movement. Open your mouth on social media. You know what I mean? Open your mouth
Uh-huh.
about the unfair injustice and that and whatever. The reason why we get stuck sometimes is just because we don't fight back when we should, and put our foot down and be like, I don't give a shit. Y'all ain't doing this to not to me, not to me today, sir. You better come and I don't want my job back now. I want $1.5 million for every year that I worked there, and it's been 12 years, right? Like, I mean, that's what we got to do. Sometimes we have to think like an entitled white woman. An entitled white woman, that's exactly what she knows that she deserves something, right? Even when she deserves something and she's wrong, she knows she deserves something. Trust me, she's willing to fight for rights that she's never had. She's good with that. We sometimes we need to think like an entitled white woman, the all-powerful white woman. Sometimes we have to get that mentality because they're the ones who do not fall into learned helplessness syndrome ever. And we need to catch a little piece of that, I think.
I like that. I like that. You have to put a manual together. Like you might have researched this already. We get started.
Oh, girl, I'm telling you, so much customer service that I've worked in. And I'm telling you,
Mhm.
that's why I have a title for her, right? And black folk here who worked in customer service, they have that title. They know what I'm talking about. The all powerful white woman. It's a particular brand of white woman, okay? And she knows that she deserves and is owed, name anything. Whatever it is that she came in for, she deserves it and she is owed it. And she trust me, she will fight. It'll be 100% against policy, something she already knew before she signed up. Now she wants that thing, or she wants to take back the thing, whatever it is. I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't do that. Oh, trust me, she will find a way. She will keep bringing it higher and higher. She'll get to the president of the company that doesn't work. She will go to the media. This woman, because she is owed the world. And she believes that in her heart and soul, she will quit her job to fight this battle. I'm telling you. Like, she does not care. It might be a battle over 25 cents. She does not care until she gets that 25 cents back from the company. You can't just take it out of your pocket and be like, yo, lady, here, listen, I'll give it to you. Just go away. Nope. The
Oh no.
company has to give her a receipt proving I'm telling you. Like, it's something. It's something. You know what? I am going to look for evidence because I know there's got to be some people, like we saw it. Y'all, there was one thing that I saw, but I bet you if I look, I'll find more. And you probably saw it too. It was a video of a white woman in a walk-in clinic, and her kid was sick, and she was demanding a white doctor. Okay. Now, this was in Mississauga, Ontario. This was like, I know exactly which walk in clinic she was in. She was about, let's see, in a 5 minute radius of one hospital and about 4 other walk in clinics she could go to. But see, her thing was, right, is she was entitled to walk into whatever walk-in clinic. Remember, they're all free. It's not like there's just one free clinic. They're all free. Healthcare is free in Canada. Okay. She's entitled to walk into any other clinic she wants. But she thinks, as a white woman, that she is entitled to walk into any walk-in clinic and be able to get a white pediatrician for her white kid. She really believed that, like in her heart and soul. She was willing to fight to the death for them to what, magically make a white pediatrician appear. They're like, we don't have one, ma'am. That should be enough of a conversation. Maybe you'd be pissed off, be like, no, 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 they should, whatever. But as she's stomping away, but that's not what happened. She kept going on. Like somehow she could argue them into hiring on the spot some white pediatrician to see her kid because her kid deserves a white pediatrician and she wants to see one now. It's this mentality that they develop that they deserve whatever it is that they think they deserve, and that's it. And if they fight to the death for long enough, someone's going to give them what they want. That's what it is. If they quote my rights long enough, someone's gonna give them what they want. And see, I'm telling you, I'm gonna look for more evidence. I'll string it all together and be like, you see, this is why. This is why they get their way. It's not just because of white privilege. It's not just because of anything else. It's because they are willing to do this about everything. Everything. Right? It's not worth the struggle. When you see that woman, you can recognize her versus every other woman. When you see that woman walk into your store, whatever she wants, you honestly want to just give it to her so she goes away. Because you know what this is about to start. You know what this is about to do to your life and your livelihood and your family. And it's just like, yo, do you really want to take this on? Do you really care that much? Probably not. I'm being real.
Yeah, they do get in your face. Because I had one lady, I was on my lunch, and I have this thing. Once I wash my hands, that's it. I ain't touching nothing. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to eat, and that's it. So the woman wanted me to take a picture, use her camera. Was it a camera? No, it was her cell phone. And she wanted me to take a picture of her and her husband in front of this picture, statue, or whatever it was. And I told her no. And she just could not believe I told her no. And she
Mm-hmm.
stood there and I kept walking and I sat down so I can go eat my sandwich. And she came over there to me. She's like, what? She said, you're rude. I said, thank you. And I bit into my sandwich. And she said some more stuff. I just ignored it. I don't know what it was. And then the husband, he was off to the side, like, oh boy, because he knew his wife. He knew her. But she was expecting me to say yes. And so once she said whatever she was saying, I asked her a question. I said, if I didn't have a choice, why did you even ask me?
Mm.
I I can't believe it. What is your name? I said, Miss. What's your name? Miss. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the company I work for to say this woman is on her lunch. I bumped into her. Has nothing to do with her job or anything else, but I seen she works for this company, so I want to complain about it. And I didn't even think about that woman twice. I ate my sandwich, went on back to work after I finished my lunch. But yeah, she was hot. She did not like that, and that's what I have an issue with. If I have a option, I have an option. Otherwise, you're telling me I don't have an option. You should have just said, "Excuse me, here, take a picture of me and my husband."
Right. Like, no is not an option. No, it's not. In their heads, like, it's kind of like when you ask your kids to do something, it's not
Hmm.
really a question. You're just trying to do it nicely. So that way there's an illusion of choice, you know, an illusion of respect. Yeah. And so when they say no, you just like almost like you stop dead in your tracks. Wait, excuse me? What did you say? Oh, you thought that was a real question. Oh, now let me check you. Come here. Come here. Come over here. Let's fix this right now. There's a little something went wrong. Come here. Over here. Um, and that's what it is. That's how they see the world. It's why I always think it's really funny when people talk about like the dainty submissive white woman. I'm like, okay, there are some of those, sure, but there's more of these. This one who owns the planet, who runs the world, her, not even girls, her. But the whole world is centered around her. The world, every company, everything was created to make her life a happy, beautiful experience. You have to, as soon as you understand that and you get on board with that, the happier you'll be. The happier everyone will be because when she's happy, everyone's happy. Right? Yeah, like that she's that person. She doesn't think that about her family. She thinks that about the galaxy. Like if she went to a different planet, that whole planet was created somehow to make her life happier. Like that's I'm saying. Now, this is not a great thing for you to have on a day-to-day basis in life if you're delusional. But sometimes we have to pick up a little bit of that, right? That idea that, like, oh, wait a minute, I can be that important. I can decide that no, my rights. Sorry, you're not shitting all over them today. Wait, I could do that, right? Like the second you figure that out, life is magical. Because again, like you will keep fighting and fighting. You'll recruit people to fight with you. You'll recruit people with who have the same story. Like that's what they do, right?
Mhm.
And some, like I said, sometimes I think we do need to take cues from other groups, but not in the way that a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah.
In this way, where we see it, it's like, oh, it's a mentality change. It's a mentality change where instead of focusing on they want to keep us down and they want to take our rights away, they don't want to give us nothing, and it's never applied fairly. Instead of focusing on that part, let's focus on the part where it's like, oh, but we can do this, and we
Mhm.
can decide that that's never going to be okay, because that's how we got to where we got today. A lot of I don't know, it's like a older millennial, not the zennials, but the older millennials seem to be under this delusion that somehow the reason why we have rights, the reason why we
Uh-huh.
can vote, the reason why we're people and not just 3/5 of a person or whatever, is because white people handed it to us. Like, oh, they gave us this. Like,
Oh,
no, no,
please.
that's not what happened.
Okay.
Or oh, they showed the Rodney King on the TV, and white people were horrified. They didn't realize things were that bad, so they just changed things. Like there's this delusion that somehow we didn't spend how many fights, countless fights you've never even heard of before losing, but we still fought. And we just kept fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And everyone looked at every time that you fight and you lose, there's a lesson to be learned there, right? You fail upward.
Mhm.
Next people are going to take on the fight. They're going to do it a tiny bit differently. And you might have to
Yes.
fight 17 times to find, oh, thing 18. Or maybe it wasn't the right time before because this law wasn't passed yet or this thing wasn't done. And so, you know what? Now you got to talk to lobbyists and politicians because you got to change this and this in order for this fight to work. And people, like, you don't understand how much work is going into failing upward. And
Mhm.
that's what I think of. I'm like, yo, we can fail upward. Trust me. This will be one. This will be one where peruse the code of conduct and the company rules and look very closely at the wording. And make sure that you get a copy of it. That you have a copy of it from before they made these announcements. And then a copy of it afterwards, of course, because you want to see
Yeah.
if they've changed the wording and whatnot, right? And then, because there's certain things, like if they decide to change the wording, to make it all legal drugs, for example, then that means
Mhm.
anyone who's at your workplace who takes morphine or oxycodone or any other mind altering substance, technically that's what it is, for pain or other things, they should also be failing. So if they don't fail, but
Right.
this black man with a tiny bit of weed in his system from a couple of weeks ago fails, and therefore he gets kicked out, you got a really good case for discrimination, for wrongful termination. That's a multi-million-dollar settlement, you know, and
Okay.
we trust me, we can keep fighting that one for a good long time. And that's what we
Mhm.
need to do. So that's what they want to do. They're already setting themselves up to play the game. I'd be like, yep,
Right.
I'm sharpening my
Get
oyster
ready.
knife. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get ready for the game. Mhm.
Exactly. Um, it's funny because on my actually, you know what? Maybe I could show it really quickly because I there's this poem. It reminds me of, well, it's not a poem. It's more like a statement slash what's it called? What is statement slash
Affirmation. Something.
yeah, like but it's like a quote, but it's longer. By Zora
Okay.
Neale Hurston. And I'm gonna show you because it's on my website. Well, how do I do this again now? I want to show you it because when I said I'm sharpening my oyster knife, this is where I get it from. Uh,
Okay.
okay. So let's go share screen, and then it goes Chrome tab, and okay, this is
Mhm.
probably it. Share. Okay, there you go. So
Okay.
now, okay, and is it big enough? Is it big enough? Can you see the words a little
Um,
bit?
I could see it's a couple words of fuzzy
Yeah,
warm.
a little bit in the corner, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
But okay, I don't want to make it smaller so you can see the whole thing at once, so I'll scroll, right?
Okay.
But it says, I am not tragically colored. There is no great sorrow dammed up in my soul, nor lurking behind my eyes. Even in the helter skelter skirmish that is my life, I have seen that the world is to the strong, regardless of a little pigmentation, more or less. No, I do not weep at the world. I am too busy sharpening my oyster knife. Right? That's by Zora Neale Hurston, right? And I love that because I'm like, to me, that's what I meant. Like, no, listen, we gotta stop. The world is to the strong. Yeah, sure. Is
Mm-hmm.
there bias against us? Do we have to fight harder? Do we have to push? Of course. But the world is to the strong. Stop sitting there and crying about it and do something. Sharpen that oyster knife. And I don't mean literally. Let's take cinder blocks and throw it through businesses and like no. Let's go and
No.
fight the way it's gonna make a difference for us.
Mm-hmm. I like
And if
that.
y'all don't know, ask somebody.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She said, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know, you better ask somebody. All right now.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you finish that with a biggie. And if you don't know, now you know, nigga. Yeah.
Ooh, I ain't got nothing else to say after that.
There you go.
I'm done. I got
I'm gonna
nothing to
close
say
it
after
like
that.
that, you know? No.
Well, hey, it's closed like that. I ain't got nothing else to say. You got
Hey.
something else to say? I'm done.
No, I think that's about says it all. That was good for me. I'm good. Was it good? Was it as
All
good
right.
for you as it was for me? I don't
Oh, it was. It was. Made me hush my mouth. I'm done.
know.
Like, oh.
Damn. Okay. Okay then. Oh, see, and Art even gave it a bam. Oh yeah, that's right, Art.
Okay, that's right. Shoot, I know I'm done.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you, Art. You the man. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
You
way
know a
to end a
strong.
Friday night.
You know a strong saying when you hear it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank you, lovely people, for coming out and sharing your time with us and participating in the chat room and your likes and your financial support. I thank you so much. We appreciate you. We shall return tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get some more ladies to hop on. And if not, that's all right too. We'll be here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, tomorrow I have a couple of articles I'll share and then I'll have some rants. So I kind of rant on Saturdays. That's when I'm
Mm.
like, you see this? Can you believe that? I can't help myself. But yeah, you'll
Yes.
see some of those on Saturdays.
Yes. I love those. So I'm totally ready. Let's do it.
So that'll be tomorrow. Neosector for Women, 7 p.m. Central. So thank
Mm.
you again, guys, coming out. Appreciate you and enjoy the rest of your Friday night and hope to see
Mm-hmm.
you tomorrow.
Hopefully for y'all, the snowstorm passes you. But no, Char's sending it my way. I should be receiving it in a few hours. And no, I do not thank you, ma'am. I do not. Stop sending your terrible weather my way. Sorry, had to say it publicly. Y'all know what it is. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. All
Peace.
right, cheers, y'all.